The views expressed on the Convo Lounge do not reflect the views of our current employers or our future employers.
Welcome to the Convo Lounge, everybody, with your host, Shar Rochelle, Amir Anthony, and I'm Antonio Crow. What's going on this week?
The Lakers, a lot's going on. My Lakers are back in the Western Conference Finals on purple and gold up.
I see you.
They are thriving in the bubble right now. We about to go for number 17.
So the bubble, what's like the bubble? What's this bubble that we living in? What's that?
We're all living in working at our homes. Some of us, we're finding ways to navigate through this COVID. Just trying to make it work the best way possible.
Yeah, I feel like we're all in our own separate bubbles or a pod.
Yeah.
The NFL is in a bubble. The NBA is in a bubble. We're experiencing life in a bubble. Some of us, some people are still out in these streets, in these Rona streets, but others of us are in a bubble.
No doubt.
So the Big Ten football schedule is out for 2020. I'm excited. Ohio State. I'm excited for Notre Dame. Excited for UCLA. Excited for USC.
Well, we don't know yet if USC and UCLA are going to be back on point because the Pac-12 is still trying to debate on if they're going to have a season right now. So we haven't really figured that out. But I will say, other than sports, I have been entertained by some really good TV shows. And I know that Shar had me rolling the other day. I was like, yeah, I got Disney Plus. She was like, we got Disney Plus. I was like, oh, is that right?
Yes.
I was like, okay. I was like, damn, I do share. I gave Shar some love all the way. You know what I'm saying? Let her use the HBO, the stars. You know what I'm saying? Netflix when needed. It's all love.
Yes.
That's what you do. Go ahead.
Say that again. What'd you say?
I was gonna say, in this pandemic, you got to share the love. You got to spread the love. You got to make sure everybody's
all day. Shout out to all my friends who let me use their login for Hulu. Shout out to my friends who let me use their login for Netflix. Shout out to Amir. I'm not gonna call up my friends, but I do thank you guys for being amazing friends to me because there is not one streaming account in my name, but I'm plugged into it all. So blessings to you all.
No doubt.
That's that COVID bootleg tying in.
Right. The only issue is like with Netflix, when I log into my homegirl's account, it's like, oh, too many users are on. So I'm like, oh, let me come back. I'll come back later.
Right. No, you know what though? I gotta say, I was going down the line of the shows that I've watched on Netflix, and I go back to because everything kind of started for me on my end in March. So I'm like, okay, I could probably list 5 shows off the top that I recommend to our fellow loungers to check out if they haven't done so already. So Narcos, and there's 2 iterations of Narcos. You have Narcos, the original, which takes place with Pablo Escobar, and then it goes into the Cali cartel in Colombia. Then you got the latest one in Mexico, and it breaks down the Sinaloa cartel. And the storyline and the acting is on point. What other shows on Ozark? Shout out to Ozark. That is a great show. It starts off a little slow, but
I try it so many times. I feel like it's gonna be like Game of Thrones. I took 3 attempts at Game of Thrones and then I finally got into it. Uh-huh. So maybe Ozark is gonna be have that same energy. What about Tori? Have you seen either of these shows?
I haven't seen Ozark. I didn't see Narcos, but Black AF, that's my joint. That's my joint. Black AF. That's the best thing on Netflix for me.
You ain't watching enough Netflix if that's the best thing on Netflix, yeah.
No, Black AF.
That's all you watching?
Oh, Cobra Kai. Look.
Oh my gosh.
I have an issue with Cobra Kai, y'all.
Okay.
And my issue with Cobra Kai is that is that I think I mean, it's a great idea. They brought it back, but the way it's spinning, the kid, Karate Kid, is now a car owner. So I mean, a car lot owner. So he has his own big time car lot in the valley of L.A. Right. So he's in the valley, Reseda area, and so his opponent that he kind of ended his career. It seems like in karate he ended his life. So this guy can't get his life together. He's an alcoholic, and he's trying.
Antonio, are you spoiling the show, or are you just like?
Oh well, all right. Well,
spoiler.
I'm just saying.
Spoiler alert for all the fellow loungers that was gonna watch Cobra Kai.
Gee whiz! Spoiler alert.
They could really have a conversation, and that show would be over already.
Well, I gotta tell you this: Black AF definitely for me. Ozark, The Umbrella Academy was another one. Queen of the South. Queen of the South is another one that I was definitely on. Am I missing anything? I'm trying to remember if there's any other.
What about the documentaries?
Oh, I Am Not Your Negro.
Yeah, that.
Black Godfather.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was like
that was amazing.
Like, can I meet him? Like low key, can I meet the Black Godfather? Quincy Jones documentary. John Coltrane, Miles Davis. I'm a jazz fan. If y'all don't know, for all my fellow loungers, I'm a jazz fan. And then also the one with Lee Morgan. They Call Me Morgan. That is a good one as well. And the reason why is because my dad bought me a trumpet when I was like, I think 8 or 9 years old. And Lee Morgan was one of his favorite trumpet players. He saw him perform in Hermosa Beach when he was a young man. And like, it's funny because like, I know Tribe Called Quest has a song, you know, the lyrics is things go in cycles, just like Miles is something like Michael, you know, and it's like hip hop and jazz have that correlation. So like for my dad back in the day, that was what it was for him, was jazz music. But yeah, very good documentaries. Those are the two I know, the few that I've seen. Oh, Watts is Burning or something like that. That's another one I think on Netflix.
I was gonna check that one out. Check that one.
And there's a ton of Black movies and Black shows that are back on Netflix, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I've been watching a lot of Girlfriends. It's great to see it from the perspective of now being an adult, like a grown woman, and seeing that a lot of the issues that they face, you know, back in the early 2000s, we as Black women were still experiencing them today.
Right.
Shout out to Mara Bracca-Kill. Like, her content is just phenomenal. The topics that she discussed were all relevant, even still to this day. Like, her writing is legit timeless. So shout out to her.
No doubt. So outside of Netflix, you brought something to my attention because Lena Waithe, shout out to Lena Waithe. She got her start working with Mara Bracca-Kill when they did Girlfriends. I think she was like part of the production crew, but like she's done a great job with a lot of her shows, you know, 20, Boomerang on BET, and then you also got The Chi on Showtime as well, which is greatly, you know, a great written show that I enjoy. So like on the premium channels, for all those that haven't seen Ghost, Power Book, you know, 2, check out the original Power and just kind of go back and then, you know, check out the new season of Power, because that, you know, y'all ain't feeling Ghost. You ain't feeling
I'm not feeling Tariq. Like, when he dies, let me know, and then I'll start watching. But that little end got on my nerves the entire Power. Like, every single episode, I'm like, why is he still alive? And now he gets a spinoff. I can't support it.
So will you support the spinoff that Tommy get? Because it's been approved that they're gonna move forward with it. It got picked up, rather.
Yeah, I like Tommy's character. Tommy's character improved a lot. Like, even from his acting skills from season 1 Power to like where it led. Yeah, he really did perfect his craft. So just based on that alone, I support him. So, and I support his character on the show.
It definitely transformed. it definitely it carried the show to a point.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Hulu, a lot of reality TV shows. Love Island UK, y'all gotta check it out. Married at First Sight, you guys gotta check that out too. Shout out to Woody and Amani. Shout out to Bennett and Amelia. Let's see, on Hulu, I've also been watching High Fidelity with Zoe Kravitz, so definitely check that out too. That's been keeping my attention.
I got a question about High Fidelity. Is that similar to the movie, or is it like a totally different like cast? Because that's originally it was a movie in the 90s.
I didn't watch the movie, but I did like the show. I like the series.
The characters are based off of that. But yeah, I just want to say something real quick. When I came out to visit you, you were having me rolling with some of those shows that you were watching, and they were hilarious. And
90 Day Fiance is what he's talking about. Even though I'm way behind in 90 Day Fiance.
Oh my gosh, that was
extremely behind.
It's just like some of these folk. It's like you want to do a background check, and I remember the episode with the couple. Like I think she was an older white woman, and he was a younger dude from India, and it was this like, comedy. I'm just like, what is going on? And y'all got to go to Char Page because she does like her own like narrating and be clowning as she's watching it. So that's even more funny right there.
Thank you, friend. It's very spontaneous though, y'all. I don't do it often. I don't do it as often anymore. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. But yeah.
I just saw a clip of an episode where this, like you said, an older white lady, I think the young man was from Africa somewhere. And as they were reciting the what do you call it? The vows, she said the pastor said to love, to listen and obey. And the lady looked at her daughter, I'm assuming, and she was like, obey? Obey what? Obey who? Wow.
She's about to be in for a rude awakening because I think that's the cultural difference, because a lot of these older white women are finding these Nigerian men who are younger, but they don't understand the Nigerian culture and how the man is really revered and he is the head. And they're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna use this green card to lure them over to the States, but not many of them, they're desperate enough to take it, but they still aren't gonna be, they're not gonna do it at the cost of being disrespected.
Right.
It's all comedy.
Yeah, totally comedy.
The only one that I know I watched, I think it was Love at First Sight, and then the one that Netflix had, that was like a big deal.
Oh, Love is Blind. That was the beginning of quarantine. Right. If y'all haven't watched Love is Blind, you got to go watch it and get up to the conversation, because that was a good show. They were literally in pods. Right.
Now, they were like literally, exactly. That was, I think I maybe watched a few and I was just like, nah, I'm good.
So did you see the episode where the young lady was dating Carlton, who came out to be bisexual?
Mm-mm. I believe I got to that, I got to the part when they all ended up going to, I think it was like Cancun or Mexico or somewhere, and then he tripped on it, and I was like, bruh, I think I called you, and I was like, yo, what's this guy's deal? And I guess he's been on other reality shows, like, that's his. I'm like, okay, that to me, some of these shows, I don't know if it's reality or if it's scripted. And I just felt like with dude's character, I'm like, the very few black people that they had on there, they just had to have that kind of brother on there, this real funny style. And it was just like, they couldn't just have just a brother that was all good and like that. I don't know. I just it turned me off. I was like, I'm good. I'm straight.
Yeah. I think so. Just for I know what you're trying to say, but it's probably not translating well for the listeners. Definitely not saying funny style in terms of Carlton's sexuality, but based on his intentions. His intentions weren't pure when he came onto the show. He came onto the show because he wanted more spotlight. He wanted fame, but he did it at the expense of a young lady's heart who was actually on the show looking for love. So that's what Amir means by funny style, not his sexuality.
Right.
Sincerity.
It was just like, bro, you wasting her time, dude. And then he just kind of in and clowned her, and it was just like, man, you doing too much, bro. If you want to Like, live your life, but don't do it to the expense of someone's heart. That was just too much. And I was just like, man. And I felt bad for her because she had to explain. And he was still going at her outside of the show. And I'm just like, let it go, man. Let it go. Yeah, that was my extent of like the shows like that. But for me, I'm like, and the biggest documentary that all the documentaries, I just got to throw it out there, and it's on Netflix now, The Last Dance. Like,
oh my God. So y'all know I say every single episode, I'm not a sports fan, but when I tell you guys, The Last Dance, and my respect for MJ as the GOAT has like plummeted through the roof. Like, wow.
MJ.
That was an amazing documentary. I mean, it motivated me. Like, I think what it was for me is I love to hear from the greats. Like, I love to hear like what their mentality is, what their philosophy on excellence is, because that can translate into anything, right? Like, if you want to be excellent at anything, you just need the mentality, not necessarily the same skill. So that's what I really loved about it. It's just hearing about MJ's passion for the sport. Like, I just loved it.
He was dedicated. I think by far, you got a chance to really see why he is called the greatest of all time, but he never went out of his way to say that he was the great. And
right.
He was the ultimate competitor to the expense of where it affected his relationship with his teammates. And you got a chance to see in the practices him going after his teammates, but it was, I need you to be on the same plateau that I'm on because I'm trying to win a championship. All this other stuff, we can do that after we win. And let's just focus. And we got a chance to see it from Pippen. I think by far the best episodes was the Rodman episodes, when Rodman went off to Vegas with Carmen Electra and Jordan knocked on the door and Carmen Electra ran off. And Jordan kept it 100. He was smoking that pretzel rod cigar and was like, listen, I ain't going to tell you what was in the room, what was going on. Let's just say Rodman was wilding out. And Carmen Electra was just like, yeah, I had ran off. And it was like the fact that Jordan flew to Vegas to tell Rodman, like, yo, man, we need you. And it was during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Too. And it's just like the only thing I can think of is, can you imagine if the Bulls were in today's NBA, given TMZ and all the social media? Because Jordan had some stuff going on too. And they kind of tapped into it, but his gambling problem and then the death of his father was definitely a great documentary. That was the greatest documentary sports. It's up there with some of the greats.
For sure. But, go ahead. I'm sorry.
On the documentary tip, I saw the Paris Hilton documentary. Paris Hilton.
I did not know that there was a documentary.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And what's interesting about it, I guess to sum it up, is that she didn't always have a silver spoon in her mouth. So contrary,
I'm sure she didn't always have a silver spoon in her mouth. What has she had in her mouth?
Yeah, contrary to everyone's belief, her family, she was like a rebel of the family, and they sent her to a boarding school, and she was abused in the boarding school. So most of the girls were abused. She tried to run away. She's a real rebel when you look at it, but she tried to run away, and then they put her in solitary confinement. So she ended up becoming 18, and then she was an adult, so she still was a rebel. But because of this documentary, she linked up with some of her former classmates, and now they're doing an awareness of abuse for this school, and they're trying to actually close the school or bring more awareness to the abuse that this school does for women. So I thought that was pretty deep, because even in the show with her and Richie, it was, she was like, I don't know how to mop. They kind of, I guess, scripted it as if she had a silver spoon in her mouth, but really she came from a hard time while she was sent away, and her parents didn't even know. So they had all this money. The parents send their kids away, and they don't even know their parents are getting abused. That's crazy.
Well, she definitely was raised in privilege. She definitely came from money. Perhaps her rebellion caused her to be disowned by her family, but she definitely had the opportunity to be raised with the silver spoon in her mouth. So I can't relate to sis.
Yeah, she's third generation Hilton family.
Yeah, but even in that generation, they didn't have it like everyone thinks, and that's all I'm saying. It's relative. So even though you can relate or can't, it's still relative.
I think, she was wilding out, and then the parents were like, we sending your ass to Europe or whatever her boarding school was at, and it was like, I'm not even tripping.
That's typical white privilege punishment. I'm sending you to boarding school.
Right. We don't get that opportunity. I'm sorry. And she was probably
Well, I know people that went to boarding school that aren't rich. So, you know what I'm saying? So your parents sacrifice, and parents make a sacrifice, and a lot of times the sacrifices don't benefit the kids. That's the truth.
It just sounds like she's leeching, trying to get some attention back to her.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
But I feel you, Antonio. I definitely feel. Can I just circle back to The Last Dance, because I think another thing that needs to be highlighted is Phil Jackson's coaching and his Zen philosophy on how he coached the Bulls. I don't think a lot of, well, y'all know I don't follow sports, so I wouldn't know. But I don't think that a lot of coaches really bring that to the table or look at it as a benefit of like mindfulness, community, compassion. Like those are all the good, all the things that a good and strong team need. So just like that synergy of coaching, and just also his awareness of knowing his players on an individual level, on a personal level, knowing what they need, knowing that when Rodman said, I need 48 hours, like he needed 48 hours instead of being like, nah, you got to stick here and be here for the team. Like, I know for me, I'm not a monster. I can't just work. I need an outlet as well. So I love that he, as a leader, knew that about his players.
That's a great observation. See, you got a little sports fan in you. I know you do. It's been rubbing on. No, that's real.
I'm a heterosexual woman, so I do love to see a whole bunch of men at one time. I'm not going to take that away from it. You know what I mean? Like football, yes, men in tights. Basketball, yes, men over 6 feet, of course. But like the technical parts of it, I'm not that versed in it.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you brought light to his coaching style, because there are coaches that come from like military backgrounds where they may implement certain strategies like that. But I think with Phil, like he was by far the only one to do, and he was successful in those methods, not just with the Bulls, but also with my Lakers, and he was able to pull off 5 rings with the Lakers, with Kobe and Shaq. And then after Shaq departed, he was able to do the same with Kobe. And those same methods were utilized, and some players were resistant to it, but it worked out. You know what I'm saying? And no, that's really cool that you've seen that part of it. And like you said, there's a lot of things from that documentary that can be applicable to those that aren't athletes, those that are just people that are just working or navigating through life. And the thing is that documentary actually wasn't supposed to drop at the time that it did, but because of the pandemic, we had no sports. People were like, yo, we need to have The Last Dance drop. And they did a phenomenal job. I wouldn't be surprised if it's nominated for more awards, if there's categories like for some of those awards to have that. It should win, because it was this, I've never seen anything like that. And I've seen a lot of sports documentaries in my time. I've never seen anything like that.
So what was the deal with Phil Jackson and the general manager of the Bulls? What was the beef?
Ego. It was ego.
Yeah, for sure. You watched, Antonio, you watched the documentary, right?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think definitely ego and little man syndrome.
Right. Jordan.
Napoleon.
Yeah, he had a Napoleon complex.
Straight up Napoleon complex, because there's scenes where Jordan is just straight up like belittling him in front of the team, in front of the media, just making fun of his weight. And I believe I've heard this story before, and I think it might be touched in the documentary. If not, I think I read it. But the movie Space Jam, if anyone hasn't seen Space Jam, the characters of the Monstars, the general manager and the coach, played by Danny DeVito, resembles the general manager of the Bulls. And
wow.
That was on purpose.
Like Jordan kind of maybe has something to do with that, having that character resemble the GM Jerry Cross. And you know, there was just a lot of disconnect, you know, with him saying that players don't win championships, organizations do. And then from there, so when you think about the Space Jam, the way that it was written and just the way it was outlined, I think that Jordan had a lot to do with the character development of that particular character, as being a short, fat dude, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just goes back to like a lot of execs or a lot of organization heads, they see the monetary gain, but you know, the players or the artists, they're coming from a place of passion, and you can't put a price tag on somebody's passion point. No. And I think that's the conflict as well, or at least that's how I interpreted it.
No doubt. And they took a lot of them for granted, you know, and it dives into like the contracts that they were signing. And just kind of to pivot real quick when it comes to athletes, I'm just happy that there is a platform for them to, you know, especially given where we are right now. I just want to say the NBA has done a great job with that. But a lot of these players, they get taken advantage of. You know, they don't get the guaranteed money, especially in the NFL. But the NBA, you know, they have a platform. They have a strong union where they can come together rather. And they did a 2-3 day stand when they were like, enough is enough. Like, we need to have some time. We don't have our families here in this bubble. There's social injustice going on in the communities that we actually play our sports in. And, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks were the main ones that stood against that because of what happened in Kenosha with Jacob Blake. And they were like, listen, you know, and I feel like a lot of players, there's been a lot of like stories going on that there's been fatigue and a lot of unrest within that bubble because players pushed and pulled in different areas. And then you have their sponsors and the people that are a part of what they're doing, like, hey, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. But that's why I got to give LeBron credit, because LeBron's like, I don't care what, I'm going to speak, I'm going to use my platform, and I'm going to talk about what's going on. And that's why I appreciate him. And he is on my Lakers.
So recently, and unfortunately, there was a shooting in Compton. 2 Compton sheriffs were shot in ambush style. So the chief, it seems like the chief of the police challenged LeBron James for a fine for finding the villain that attempted, you know, the murder on these sheriffs. And so, I mean, there was a lot of political, I guess, conflict with that, because people were saying it's not LeBron's place to be putting up money. And then, you know, it just was like, why would you challenge LeBron regarding finding killers of police when actually that's not his platform? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is that the chief of, you know, the sheriff department was trying to deflect what's really going on. And there's some issues going on within that department. And I encourage our listeners to take a look at some of the articles of certain things that go on within the LA sheriffs or the sheriff's department. There have been some stories of initiations, you know, to you know, be the law on the streets and doing things to those in the community. But I found it very interesting because these are the same sheriffs in that department that, when the unfortunate, you know, death of Kobe Bryant and the other passengers in the helicopter crash, they exposed the photos from that crash. And Vanessa Bryant called them out recently when the chief, you know, said what he said. And it's like, you know, it's hypocrisy. Like, why are you doing this where you should be going after your department for what they did and expose my husband, my child, and also the others that perished in that crash? And, you know, once again, LeBron does a great job in deflecting that energy. You know, I like the fact that he had a post on his Instagram and Twitter talking about Aunt Becky, AKA, you know, Lori Loughlin from Full House. She gets a chance to do a 2 or 3 month prison term at a prison of her choice.
Right.
Wow.
That? Like, yeah. And LeBron like calling it out, like, I'm trying not to cry, but laugh at the fact that this is going on and you guys are coming at me to fight some fight that's internally within your department, but you guys are allowing some woman to utilize her platform. College admission scandals happen a lot within the elite, you know, being that I'm in that circle, this happens a lot. and she gets to choose the prison. And it's only 2-3 months. Like she gets
2.5 months.
Choose her prison. Like, when did that happen?
When you become white, you become white and privileged. That's when it happened.
Martha Stewart didn't even have that. Martha Stewart went to Michael G.
Yeah, I think that's all lawyering and the judge. They probably never seen that before in court, so they didn't even throw the book at her. And she's not black. If she had been a person of color, they would have threw the book at her.
Oh, for sure.
Well, there was a sister that got caught up like that. I don't know how many years she ended up getting, but it was something to the lines where she took her children out of a certain school district and put them in another school district. And because of that, some kind of fraudulent things that went down, and they threw the book at her. And I'm like,
yeah, and that was like secondary school. That was like high school, right?
Yeah, this goes to our point once again. All our fellow loungers, make sure you get out and vote, because these are the things that are happening within the legislation, within our city and within our counties. These things are happening where certain people are protected, and it affects those that are in the community, primarily brown and black communities. And when we say, oh, I don't need to vote, my vote don't count, oh, it does. Because when you don't, that is your opportunity to voice the things that are going on in your community. So we're going to continue to push that. Go on our platform, go on our website, and you'll see that link. And we'll continue to push that agenda, because that's ridiculous. When I seen that, Antonio, I was like, wow, he's really calling out LeBron.
Right.
Do something that your department should be handling. And it's an internal investigation, in my opinion, that's happening within that department.
Yeah, I just hope that they find the killer, because we don't deserve, on both sides. Like, I look at it like, our community's getting killed by the police, and then something happens where someone in the community kills the police. So this is like a disconnect 100% all the way around. So we just really need to, resolve that and do what it does.
For sure. Yeah, by no means are we saying that blue lives don't matter. By no means are we saying that the villains should get off for killing the police. Like, it's wrong. However, I do agree with you all in the sentiments of, as African Americans, as people of color, we have our own fight to fight, and it's not to defend what's going on in the police department at all, especially when the police department, we are public enemy number one to them. So, like, they got to show us a little bit that our lives matter and that they're valued before we just go sticking our necks out for them. They've been the biggest threat to our community since their existence.
No doubt about it.
So I'm not going to use my platform to demand justice until we arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Straight up. And that's that's facts. And that's facts. Like, and earlier this week, we received notification that her family received a $12 million settlement. I'm like,
right.
That equates to like what? What does that do? And once again, the Attorney General happens to be a brother with no mustache. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't get it. Like I don't understand why this continues to happen in our communities, and it's okay. And then they think a settlement is worth the life of an individual from those communities, and they think it's okay. And then all these nasty stories come about. So it's just unfortunate. I don't like the fact that this is happening, and it continues to happen in our communities.
Yeah, for sure. And it just goes back to the narrative that they feel like they could put a price on our lives. It's the resounding narrative that if we just throw a dollar sign on their lives, they'll shut up. Mm-hmm. And that's whack. Like, we are not looking for monetary gain. We're looking for justice. We're looking for equality. We're looking to stay alive. Like, it's so simple.
Peace
of mind. Like, help us help y'all.
It's like my homeboy posted something about Kanye. When Kanye mentioned the 400 years of slaves, they were slaves because they wanted to be. And the homie posted, basically, go ahead and throw all of your Grammys, take them off the shelf, throw them in the trash, wash them off, and then put them back on the shelf. Like basically, you talking about slavery, but you a slave yourself, and you don't even know it.
Oh my gosh. Again, he's the lead character in Get Out. It's
Right.
his narcissistic, closed mind is boggling, but it just goes to show how important mental health is, and mental health awareness, and making sure that if you are undiagnosed, get diagnosed and get on a treatment plan, because this man he's going through. Pray for Ye.
Yeah.
He's not okay. He is not okay.
Yeah.
By any means.
No comment on that, brother.
Your fellow Gemini.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But speaking of things that are happening in the media right now, I don't know if you guys have been watching Tamron Hall. She just came back on, had her season premiere. She started off with Andrew Gilliam.
Andrew Gilliam, who was running.
Yeah. So I'm so mad that I missed the show, but I did catch her interview on The Breakfast Club, and I've caught snippets of it. I definitely want to go back and watch the show. For a couple of reasons, and I don't know if I want to go into it on this episode. But she also had a show this week with former Vanderpump Rules star Stassi Schroeder, who was fired from Bravo and the show for a lot of racist comments that she's made towards Jewish and towards Black people. Mm-hmm. And what intrigued me most about that episode is that shortly after Stassi got fired, this is a woman who a white woman who was raised in New Orleans, which is a very diverse city. She's moved to LA, which is a diverse, larger city as well. After she got fired, she said that she hired a diversity coach to help her understand what other races and what people of color go through, to help her understand the culture. And I personally took that as a cop-out, as a person who was raised in predominantly, like I went to predominantly white schools. Yeah, like I was one of the only Black kids in my class or in my school from K to 12. And in all of my education, Black studies, Black history was, a part of our curriculum. So I find it hard to believe that this young lady who was raised in New Orleans had no education on Black history in some form of fashion, for one. And the other thing that bothered me is, when does white privilege remove your compassionate gene for another human being? Like, why do you need a diversity coach to help you learn compassion for another race? That's bogus to me.
I didn't even know that diversity coaches existed, to be honest with you. Like, I've had like trainings where people would come and like speak on things, but I didn't know there was actually like a success coach to help you navigate through society when it comes to diversity. So that shows that there is a lot of money being that. I want to know how much that salary is, but that's what
I said. I was like, should I become a diversity coach and teach white people how to treat Black people? Like, is there a lane for me? But I don't even think I could do it. I think I would go in and work every day like, come on, man.
Right. That's white privilege. You know what? I encourage our listeners to read the book White Fragility, because that really taps into the energy that this Vanderpump Rules cast member. It's like, the thing is that white people are blind to the fact that racism exists in America, and the term anti-racist comes into key, because the thing is that you cannot navigate through society thinking that the things that are happening, especially now, are okay as an American. I don't care your background, it's not okay. And if you navigate through life and think that you can just say whatever you want to say and do what you want to do, and your platform is on television, it's going to be called out, okay? And that person hiring a diversity coach is just them saving grace from the things that have been lost, right? I'm pretty sure if none of this occurred and they didn't get wind of it, it will be ongoing. And the thing is, it is fragile for white people to be in a room with us and to discuss the issues that are going on. And I want to know the race of the diversity coach. I'm curious to know what their background was.
Me too.
I would have
she
at her.
She gets homework. She gets homework assignments.
That's crazy. As a grown woman, that's what you're doing. Like that's white fragility and its privilege.
What's her age demographic?
She's like a millennial. She's probably mid to early 30s.
So what that brings me to what you said, Char, like as African Americans, Black people in general, we're not taught to hate. We come from basically a religious background to some degree.
You're right.
After segregation and desegregation, we don't have hate in our parents unless our parents have had bad experiences with the opposite race. Overall, we don't teach hate. We don't teach hate in church. We don't teach hate among our peers. You know what I'm saying? But outside of bad experiences, you're gonna get it if it's a bad experience. But we don't teach that. So I think hate is a learned process, psychologically, and it also brings me to when people come to the United States, they're told to stay away from the Black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of I guess those demographics and those cultures have to unlearn hate, and it's gonna take centuries to unlearn hate.
Dang.
Well, yeah,
I'm sorry, Amir.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, it's you hit it right on the money, because there are other groups of individuals that come into this country and look at us like, oh, well, they look at us as no threat at all. And then you see those microaggressions when you're in the workplace, it translates over. And we're glossing.
Did you say no threat? No threat?
No, they look at us as no threat. Like they look at us.
We are a threat, though. We are. That's why they're afraid. That's why they hate us, because we are the threat.
Well, I look at it as when you're in the workplace, you have those microaggressions that take place, and they look at us, oh, we can just do this and we can do this, that, and do that. But the thing is that there have been so many things institutionally that have allowed that to happen, to where individuals can do whatever they want to do to us in our community. They can have advertisements. They can do things to where, oh, we're just athletes. And if we say something, we're out of bounds for it. Stay in your lane. The mistreatment of Black women, the mistreatment of Black men, the family, the backgrounds. There's just so many things that they do to break us apart. So yeah, it can go two ways. We're a threat to them, and then sometimes we're not a threat. So it's kind of like, what are we doing, or what do we need to do to overcome that? And the thing is that in this pandemic, I hope people are getting trained on the error of their ways. Whether you got a diversity coach, whether you're seeing what's going on in television, whether you're using your right to vote, whatever the case is, you cannot sit here and tell me that privilege for certain individuals does not exist, primarily white folk. And we as Black people have a privilege to get out there and vote. We have a privilege to get out of there and change the things that are going on. So I continue to encourage all of our young listeners and everyone, use your voice to do the right thing, and don't allow yourself to be imprisoned by the things that are going on around you. Like, push it,
But I think to Antonio's point, the reason why there is oppression is because the overarching thing is that they are threatened by us. If they were not threatened by us, none of this would happen. Like, none of this would be going on. You know what I mean? Like, you don't focus on what you're not threatened by. You don't focus on what's not a threat to you. Mm-hmm. If you were that empowered, you would just go on and thrive as you would. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just like, and what you said, what we need to, I guess, be more educated on as a community is ownership. Like during, I guess, slavery, we didn't own the plantations, right? Or did we?
No.
Right, so we worked them. So once we realized that we didn't have to be working there for free or however, then we should have started owning them. And so we change the narrative right there. Once we become owners, then it changes the narrative. But the other part about it, to Amir's point, is that when we are not a threat, is that I guess it's because we're still Black. So you can't be too rich and too black. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that I can't. I would like to be like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be that black person, but you know, we're gonna be reminded how black we are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So no matter how, unless we are independent, like 100% independent, we will be reminded how black we are, even by our own black people.
For sure, but it goes back to what we need to condition ourselves and what behaviors and thought patterns we have to unlearn. You know what I mean? Like you said, the same way that hate, there's going to be centuries of unlearning that white people have to do. There are centuries of unlearning that black people need to do as well. Like, we need to really, truly understand our worth and our value in this society and like move forward and thrive. You know what I mean? Like, I refuse to allow the color of my skin to oppress me or stop me from getting anything that's rightfully mine. Because the only person that has power or control over me is the divine. And I believe that every blessing and everything that God has for me is for me, and I will succeed regardless of the color of my skin. That's just me. I think black people are beautiful. We have to go back to why we were put on this planet. We got to learn those thought processes and I'm sorry guys, you know, I'm getting passionate, but like, we got to go back to community. We got to go back to self-love. We got to go back to who we are. We are kings. We are queens. We are gods. We are goddesses. We got to go back to that. I'm sorry. We got to unlearn everything that the American culture has taught us. It's bullshit. It's bogus.
And that's what I'm saying, Shar, that like what you're saying, and that's a promise to us. That success is a promise to us. Sometimes we don't acknowledge it, but that is a promise. And we need to get into the promise and achieve our goals 100%.
For sure. Like, we got to unlearn the years of the centuries of, I'm sorry?
You got to unlearn what we learned, what has been taught.
Exactly. The lies.
Yeah.
They're all lies. They're lies that were fed to us to control us. Right. Even Christianity, like, it's how they tailored that to make slavery right. It's bogus, guys. Learn your history. Open a book. They say if you want to keep anything from a black person, put it in a book. But guess what? We need more thinkers. Open your mind. Expand it. Learn.
We need more thinkers. We need more teachers. We need more educators. We need more lawyers. We need more doctors. We don't need any more athletes. We got enough.
No.
And
we need more leaders. We need more lovers. We need more community. We need more togetherness. Like, come on. The time is now.
Right.
We need more healing.
Right. Yeah. No, we do. And I think that for too long, our community has ran to the wrong thing and handouts and expected that to help us. And in reality, that's not the ideal way of doing it. And in order for us to continue to press forward and move on, I'm reading a book right now, and it's right here behind me. It's called Conversations in Black. And one of the topics brought up in the book was, where are our leaders? So kind of to the point of Shar's shirt is, where are they? Where are they? Where are our Dr. Kings, our Malcolm X's, our Angela Davises? Where is our Huey Newtons? Where is our Fred Hamptons? Like, where are those individuals? And they're not there. We don't have them. They've been silent. They've been persecuted. They're no longer with us. There's so many different things that have happened to where we have settled in our communities and we're good. Like, we're good. We got this, we got that, like, we're okay. And we're not. So I don't like the fact when we as people would say, well, that's them, that isn't affecting me. Oh, it does affect you. It does affect you. It has a major impact on how you navigate through the world. And I think we need to have something take place that is going to allow us to rally behind one another. And that's why I like, with the Nation of Islam and what they do. When Farrakhan got on his platform on the 4th of July and spoke on what he spoke on, it was real. Because it's like, we got to wake up.
For sure. But I think to Antonio's point, he said this in another episode, we have to stop looking for leaders and become the leaders of our own household. we have to stop looking out for thought leaders or governor officials. We have to stop looking for saviors and save ourselves. It's what's stopping us from becoming the leaders.
And
why are we looking for them anymore?
And that's the deal with the Convo Lounge. Like we are leading a conversation, right? In hopes of change. And basically for me, it comes to this. Like we were a collective society in Africa, right? We came to the United States, we became individualistic. So we got a whole bunch of years of individualistic. And what happens as individuals, we just want to self-preserve our household. We want to self-preserve our family, right? So we have to make sure we're straight to some degree before we can make sure someone else is straight, right? So, and it's a great burden on humanity as a preacher. It's a great burden on humanity as a government official. Like, you know, like for example, Obama couldn't speak to black people, but when he was around black people, he gave them the cool handshake. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great burden, but as individuals, we can make a difference. We make a difference, and also in our own finances, because that's what gives us power as individuals. If we're able to strategize our financial plans as individuals, we can change our world and also help other people.
That is true.
That is true. No doubt.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I think that, you know, we are leaders in our own right. We have to be leaders. We have to be the ones that push the agenda. We have to be the ones that use our platform accordingly to get to our people. So I do agree with what you were outlining, but I think that you know, the whole purpose of this podcast is we're trying to build a movement. We are going to build a movement, and we're collectively using.
We are building a movement. We are building a movement.
Yeah, and the thing is that that's why we're pushing people in the direction to do what's needed. And we're speaking on things that need to be discussed. Because some of these things are tough conversations, but you got to have them. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And going back to Antonio's point with ownership, you know what I mean? We're going to have a conversation soon with a realtor to talk about the benefits of ownership. We got to get back to owning our property. We got to get back to owning land. So that's going to be a conversation in the future too. But that's the only way that we become leaders in our own right, is making sure that nobody has jurisdiction over what's rightfully ours.
Yeah. Word. And I think because of financial literacy, which, you know, I mean, I lack financial literacy, so I can't profess to be the most profound person in finances, but with more financial literacy, the stronger we are as individuals. And I think that will propel us. I mean, look at our president. He's financially literate, if you will, right? So if we could tap into somehow becoming more, and it's all relative. So at it, baby steps, you know what I'm saying? We grow as we become more financial. And the thing about our ancestors, I feel, is that their speech was save your money, right? Mm. Now we're talking about get a bag, right? Like my mom was born in 1935, and I'll swear to you, every other month she was talking about saving money. Now you turn on every hit record, everything is about get a bag,
blow a bag,
right? What do we do with the bag, though? What do we do with the bag, y'all? What do we do?
Not only are we saying get the bag, we're also saying we're promoting designers that don't even love us and like us and don't want to even have us wearing their designs. So we don't even own that.
To your point, what we're doing is supporting designers. We're supporting families. The Gucci family, Louis Vuitton, that's a family. Bro, we are helping their generations. Who helping your generation, bro? Who helping your generation, Sure? You know what I'm saying? That's where we're, I want to say lacking, because it's all education. Feel me?
Yeah.
Like, so because we are educated people, so but we just need more literacy, more conversations, and it's critical conversations that we're having.
Here's the thing. We are educated. It's just that we're afraid to show them what we know. So those that are in those positions, sometimes they're afraid to speak on it. So they rather just settle and entertain and tap dance and do all the stuff that they be doing. And that's why the music industry is just all messed up. And I don't support some of these artists that use their platform. I understand it's entertainment, but some of it's just like outlandish to me. Like it's really outlandish and it's pitiful. It's another form of shucking and jiving type mentality to where it's like, okay, I'm gonna settle for this and do this and put this on and do that and be a slave to something that's not gonna benefit those around me. It might benefit you in that current time, but what about from a longevity standpoint? And I always get a kick out when I see some of these artists that are on social media. I'm like, well, how long is that going to last? 10 years from now, what is that going to do for you? Living in that fast lane and popping this and doing that and dropping that and wearing that. And it's just like, yo, like, can we just make a song? Like it's almost at the point we need to get Quincy to do a We Are the World, like just get a remix with these.
For COVID.
It just have them just like, yo, we need to do something because this don't make no sense. I'm just like, I don't get it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like seeing women perform some of the things that they perform on some of these songs and doing some of this. And sure, I'm gonna defer to you on what you think about it. But like the Cardi B's and the Meg Stallions, like they're beautiful women, but I'm like, do they have to this?
Wait, what's the name of the song? What's the name of the song, Antonio?
The WAP.
No, what'd you call it the first time?
Oh, I thought I called it the WAP.
The WAP.
Oh, the WAP.
WAP.
Isn't it the WAP?
The WAP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The WAP.
I have not seen the video. Straight up, I have not seen the video. But I'm just like, that's it. I'm just saying, like, is that an appropriate video to have during these times we're in? And I'm like, to me, when it comes to like hip hop artists, especially female artists, like I can't connect with those artists. Like for me, I'm always gonna go to like the MC Lights, the Queen Latifahs, the Lauryn Hills, Rhapsody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's funny you say that. I was thinking that this morning because for those of you guys who follow me on social media, you'll see like sometimes I'll record what's happening in my neighborhood because my walls are thin. Not only did I wake up to the sound of my neighbors having sex, but I also woke up to their after party and them listening to Brandy and Monica this morning. And Brandy was, she had the remix of I Want to Be Down with Queen Latifah and MC Light. And just this morning, I was like, damn, we can't get any of the greats on a Cardi B or a Nicki Minaj or a Meg Thee Stallion album. Like they would not do it. I don't know what happened to music. I don't know what happened to how women value their bodies. Because here's the thing, like I consider myself very sexually liberated. I own my sexuality through and through. I have conservative views on it, but I don't think that I need to flaunt my sexuality in a way where I'm promoting and broadcasting
all the time.
My partner knows exactly what's going on. Like I don't think the world needs to know.
Yeah, no, it's gotten out of hand.
What I possess. It's not the world's business what I possess. I think the issue that I have with Cardi B and Meg's song is they keep doing it, and not only them, like, but the people who keep defending it, it's, oh, women are now owning their sexuality, and how come women can't do it, and men have been doing it, and they've made it this conversation where it's men versus women and female liberation, where it's not that at all. I think it's a lack of value for self. Yes. Because if I know what I possess, and I know it's great, I ain't got to broadcast it to everybody.
Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing, too. It doesn't help could we get a song where we uplift black men, though? Because, like, here's the thing. City Girls, huh?
Jason's Lyric had a song. back in the day.
Ooh,
Nah.
how long ago was that?
Yeah,
I
now
know, right?
I'm talking about right now. I'm talking like right now. You had the city girls go on Breakfast Club talking about broke niggas. I'm like, yo, what's that? Could you like break that down? Then you got other celebrities. I don't even want to say they're celebrities. These are like people that are on some reality show or they appeared on Wild and Now and they got a platform on the Shade Room. They want to talk about I can't mess with a brother that works a 9 to 5 and it's like, yo, like I don't know her name, but
Simone.
Yeah.
Simone.
Yeah, with the cut up eyebrow. I don't get it. Like
Right.
I don't get it, and it doesn't help. So as a black man, how like you're telling me a man that has an education, has a master's degree, works a 9 to 5, works in a specific area, that I'm broke, that I'm this, I don't meet like so what? You rather have some, and I'm not trying to downplay another brother that is okay with that, but I'm not that dude. I am not that dude.
Right, but
and
to
I
your
just
point, and she's the same girl who'll be on social media talking about I'm manifesting a man. God, where's my man? Where's my man? Your man may just work a 9 to 5, sis. Like he could be out there and working 9 to 5. And I guess what she was trying to say is she wants an entrepreneur because he understands the hustler's mentality. But I don't even agree with that. Like I work a 9 to 5 and I'm an entrepreneur.
You can do both, and she's miseducated, and God bless her, but good luck trying to find a man that's going to sign up for something like that, because that's ridiculous. But, you know, I'll be damned if I'm in a relationship with a woman and she's, you know, trying to break me down on my accomplishments and trying to tell me I'm no good. You can keep it pushing. Put on your Gucci sandals, whatever you got on, and get the hell up out of here. I ain't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying?
But you are right. What happened to the songs that uplift black men? Angie Stone had Black Brother.
I know, but you don't have it coming from the rap community though. Like
no.
And here's the thing, and I'm gonna be 100 with you. If a black female artist, rapper or singer were to do that, the record label will say no. They want us,
for sure.
They want us to make songs when black women are being objectified. And don't get me wrong, I like entertainment. I'll go to the strip club in a minute and have some fun and kick it with my boys and do what needs to be done. But at the same time,
what does that mean? Do what needs to be done.
Throw some dollars, slap some.
Wow. Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the entertainment industry, like they have a platform to make music, but does it always I know when Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, I know when they make a song, I already know where it's gonna be. Like, I know what I'm gonna get, right? But if they were to just make a song where they just uplift black men, the everyday struggle of the black man, you know, it would be all good, because black men that are rappers have done it for black women.
Yeah.
Talib, brown skinned lady, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's so many rap songs that, you know, rappers have done that uplifts the black community, that uplifts black women. But I don't know what it is with black women when it comes to the rap game. They gotta just objectify themselves all the time. Like, I get it, it's entertainment, but it doesn't have to be like that's their MO.
Well, to your point, but that it's to your point. They're not conscious, right? The rappers that you just threw out, they're conscious rappers. So like people who are conscious, people who have a certain level of awareness, they understand value. They understand what's valued. The issue with the record industry or the music industry today is you have all these unconscious people walking around promoting music that does nothing to lift the vibration.
Yeah. It's in the moment. It's in the moment. It's in the moment. Rap is not going to be popular 5 years. I mean, not even a year from now, 2 years from now, it's not going to be the song. Just like when Cardi B first dropped with the high heel shoes song. Ain't nobody tripping on that.
Oh, the bloody shoes.
Yeah, ain't nobody tripping on that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody tripping on it.
Did you rock off of that, Shar? Did you like that song?
I like catchy like songs that make me bob my head, but when I downloaded to my Apple Music, no. Like I really don't subscribe to a lot of the music that my generation listens to today. I have an old soul. So a lot of the music that I listen to is either oldies, is conscious. Like I love Maxwell. That is my neo soul is my genre. and I love dancehall as well. So like, what's these artists, like these little what do they call it? Like the Migos and the trap music. I don't.
All right, here.
Yeah.
So what's the other one? The other one. I don't. How you say her? And she spells it wrong, but Sweetie.
Oh, Sweetie.
Yeah.
Tap 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 fancy like that. Like I do like you know the beat and the melody, but I don't. What she's saying, if I actually listen to the words, I would probably want to throw up in my mouth.
Let's do this.
That's whack.
Let's identify.
Tap 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 band.
She got. Hold on, real quick. All her songs are like that. Don't she got like 5 other songs where it's like Mother Goose, dibbity dibbity dap, dip 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 dip, dollar dollar, hit like who's the other one? Cash Doll. It's another one. Like I don't get it.
So let's identify a conscious female rapper.
A conscious female rapper today.
I got one. So let me see what y'all got.
Rhapsody.
Noname.
Rhapsody.
Noname. Yeah.
Okay, mine is Camille out of LA.
Okay, and Rhapsody.
So we want to make sure we promote them and say that we love their music. Yeah. Rhapsody, Noname, you said?
Noname. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Camille. And we want to put their artwork up and everything.
Don't forget Rhapsody. Rhapsody.
So mine, and it's probably more, I know it's more. But my deal was that, you know, everything is demographics and marketing. So, you know, even in the concept of turning up this music, this ratchet music, quote unquote,
turning up
helps people turn up, right? It helps you turn up at the cookout, help you turn up at the party, even during COVID. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, it has a place and it ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really the listener has to turn it off.
Oh, that's a word.
Yeah, the listener has to turn it off, and radio is gonna keep promoting it because that is what keeps the ratings. That's what they cater to for their demographic. And it's unfortunate that the WAP is a hit record.
WAP, guys, it's WAP.
Okay, WAP. You know what I'm saying? It's
WAP,
unfortunate.
Bap, skibbity bap. I don't give a shit. The shit is WAP.
Oh, bars.
You got bars. It's unfortunate, but you know. I mean, and then, you know, Cardi B, she also has her conscious tip with the politics. It may not be the most PG, but she does try to speak on it. So, you know.
Let me tell you something right now. That's some bullshit coming out of her mouth. She's just being used. And I think I alluded to it on another episode that we had. I think I sent it to y'all. Candace Owens, our favorite, went in on her. She went in on her and it was hilarious. It was funny. I was like, damn. You have no.
So you agree with what Candace Owens had to say about Cardi B?
There was some truth to that.
Part of it, yeah. She was right. Like, don't come into politics. This is not your wheelhouse. Stick to music. You know, stick to what you want, because, like she said, what you asked our new president, I have a wish list of what I want. That's not how you approach a politician, sis. Stay in your lane.
Here's the thing. It's a mockery.
Or become educated on the government. Become educated on politics. But don't just come up with some magical fairy godmother wish list. Like, do you not know how this works?
No, she doesn't. And they're using her. And see, and here's the thing. This is the issue, and this is where I sided with Candace Owens. The Democratic Party is using a person like Cardi B to appeal to Black America, to appeal to urban America. Like, oh, we got Cardi B, you know, after school special, talking to Uncle Joe. And she's, you know, got the glitter in the nails, the bullshit, the teeth and all that going on. And she's just running up her mouth, running up a storm. And it's like, this is the same woman that raps about her pussy being wet. And I'm like, excuse my language, but it's this, you know, I don't like the fact that you use someone like that for her platform. And that's what Candace was like, this is who y'all want to talk.
This is your spokesperson.
To talk to your presumptive president. Like, y'all could have used Angela Rye, you know what I'm saying, who I rock with all day. Y'all could have got Angela Yee. You could have got so many people that
Amanda Seals.
You could have, yes, like
just a person who knows how to formulate a sentence would have been great.
And not only that, has an image that a Black America needs right now, right? Given the times that we're in, Black America does not need Cardi B talking to Joe Biden.
Okay.
Like,
I feel like Cardi B.
Okay, here's my thing. Would you have the Migos interview Kamala Harris? You know what I'm saying?
But hey, because they from the South. You don't know what's inside people that was raised in the South.
I'm making a comparison. You would not have the Migos interview Kamala Harris. So why?
I think Offset would do a good job.
That's what I'm saying. Like you may get a CeeLo Green out one of the Migos. You don't even know.
What?
And here's the other thing. The other thing that's scary, and I think we brought this up in a prior episode. When you think about Meg Thee Stallion, sis is trying to get a bachelor's degree right now, but we don't hear about that. All we've heard about is how big her ass is, how wet her vagina is, and it's like, can you promote education?
And the fact that she got shot in the foot by Tory Lanez.
Hey, I think if we did a Real of the World now, it would be auto-tune, bro. I don't think people would like it.
This generation is embarrassing.
No,
I'm embarrassed.
We are our own worst enemy, right? And the thing is that we are used to do the work of the things that don't benefit us, right? So when we're put in opportunity to do certain things, we need to have better representatives when it comes to doing certain things. Now, here's the thing. I don't know who Cardi B's publicist is, but they could have prepared her in a certain way. They could have maybe changed her look to have her presentable to talk to someone who's in the political space. And I just feel like, me and my opinion, like I said, I know I threw out the example with the Migos, but I'm just saying, when you are represented in certain lights, I take the three of us for an example. If we're put in a position to interview someone of a certain caliber, we're not going to be over the top. We're not going to do all that stuff. We're going to be as professional as necessary. If you're in a job interview, it's the same way. So I think presentation is everything. And when you have someone someone who's Black that goes after another Black woman, I don't like to see that. I don't like to see other Black men go at it. But it's just unfortunate that Candace Owens has her side, and she was like, look, that is not what is needed right now. Like, she was looking at it from a Black woman's point of view. Like, I feel sorry for you that you actually went out there and made yourself look like a fool in front of a presumptive, president of the United States. And then he's riding with it. Uncle Joe's just like, he's excited. He's like, this is who I got. And I'm like, nah, that wasn't cool. That was not cool. Cause I'm like, what does that do for us? Is that more people to vote?
I know that Candace is a Black woman, but I don't see her as a Black woman.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Explain that one, bro.
I don't feel like she speaks for Black people. Do you?
She may not speak for Black people, but that doesn't take any of her Blackness away.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that route. I think that certain things.
But what about the inside?
She's probably. But how do we know that she doesn't speak for Black Republicans and Black conservatives? She speaks for a certain type of Black people. She may not speak for us, but she speaks for a platform of Black people. The same way we don't speak for all Black people.
Right. And there are certain things that I agree upon with her when it comes to family and Black masculinity. And I think you and I, Shar, I think you sent me a video or we discussed it. And I'm like, I agree with that. I think that society has done a number on Black masculinity. I think there's been a number on how we're portrayed in the media, how we're portrayed on film, how we're portrayed in life. I just think that there needs to be a better representation of Black masculinity. And it just goes to my point, like, it's not presented in a way that it should be, when it's the Black family and portrayed, when there's a strong Black figure and you have the Black woman and you have, and that's what a lot of other, net groups, but no other group is mistreated in that light than the Black man. And, I agree with what, the foundation of the family, I think, was what her focus was, and how, it's been it's been just like slashed. Like it doesn't exist anymore at all.
Yeah. What's plaguing the Black community is division. And we have to learn how to respectfully disagree with each other and still remain united. Kind of like to your recent point, Antonio, was like, I don't see her as a Black woman. That we really have to reject that mentality and understand that we can still respectfully disagree and still be community. Every other race and culture has that, but when it comes to Black people, we look for anything to cancel one another, anything to divide each other. And it's like, we really have to reject that mentality and learn to respectfully disagree, and you still be fam, and we move forward.
Ooh, unlearning.
Well,
healing.
And that's
Therapy.
And that's what it's all about. And I think that we just have to realize the power we have when we're together rather than the power we have when we're apart. And like you said, we can agree to disagree and keep it pushing, but we don't have to go out and just dog one another, especially on a platform like a social media, because no other group does that to each other rather than our group. We go in, and it's just like, for what? And I just think it just, we just got to come together and figure out a better way. But, that's life in the bubble, y'all. The bubble make you go crazy. If you start tripping, you got to find out a way to navigate through it. Watch your sports, read, eat good, feel good.
Listen to our podcast.
Listen to the podcast. Listen to it, the Convo Lounge.
Speaking of, what have y'all been listening to other podcasts? Because that's also what's been getting me through the bubble. Shout out to The Read. I've been listening to them a lot. Shout out to Latarius. I can't think of his last name, but Dear Future Wifey podcast is a podcast I recommend to Black men. Like, he is really having good, wholesome, healing conversations for Black men. A lot of good, relatable topics. I've also listened to How Married Are You? Because I believe in dressing for the job you want, and I will be a wife one day soon. So I'm listening to that. What else am I listening to? Kevin Samuels, my man.
Yeah, my guy is wild. Dude is off the chain with it. Well, for me, mine are all sports related. So the Steam Room with Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley, All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Those dudes keeping it real. And then there was another one I was listening to a while back when it first started, was Chasing Cosby. And it's a podcast where they break down all the things that took place with Bill Cosby, our beloved Bill Cosby, brother Bill. It's sad because they break down like how all of this happened. And I'm like, damn. Today's society will never know how great Bill Cosby was to our community at one point. Like, we looked up to the Huxtables. And it's just unfortunate because they break down like the entire details of like this man single-handedly was doing it back then, and none of it just got unscathed. And it's just like, damn, Bill. And the cover of the podcast is a Gucci sweater being unraveled by the thread.
Wow.
I was just like, Bill. Yeah. Shout out to the other podcast though.
Yeah. Shout out to, go ahead. I'm sorry, Antonio.
Yeah, I like Joe Rogan. I think he's dope. On the Instagram side, I like Jopra, which is Fat Joe. So Fat Joe has it's kind of an Instagram podcast, if you will. And he's interviewing a lot of his fellow peers in the music industry. So he's getting a lot of intel from experiences that happen. I love Drink Champs. That's like another show that I watch religiously. Drink Champs is.
Yeah, I forgot about
Noriega really knows, like, he knows how to interview, and it's just a real casual, calm show, and also getting all the hip hop stories because I'm like a hip hop head. Mm-hmm. Hip hop raised me kind of, so like I really enjoy that. So that's basically where I'm at.
Yeah. One last podcast I want to plug is the Stonecutters podcast with Aaron Hankins and Will Catlett. if you're looking for a roadmap to success in a holistic perspective, like mentally, spiritually, physically, listen to the Stonecutters podcast.
That's what's up. Well,
yeah.
Anything else y'all want to throw out there other than the podcast? Books you're reading?
Oh, I'm reading Vibrate Higher right now and Radical Acceptance. Yeah, those are the two books that I'm currently reading. And I need to pick up Children of Blood and Bones. I have it right in front of me right now, but it's the size of the Bible. And yeah, that'll be my October read.
That's right. Well, I'm still going through this right here behind me. For those that are on the YouTube channel, when y'all see this, is Conversations in Black by Ed Gordon, former journalist of BET when BET was owned by Black.
Man,
is BET owned by white people now?
It's Viacom. Robert Johnson sold BET like I think over a decade ago, and he cashed out and he bought the Charlotte Bobcats, which is now the New Orleans Pelicans. He sold it all to Viacom. So BET is owned by Viacom, which owns MTV, Nickelodeon, CBS.
You can't tell, Shar? Or when the last time you
saw it anymore? I don't watch it anymore, but that's probably why.
Right. Yeah.
Golly, we can't.
No more programming on BET. But Ed Gordon, y'all remember when Ed Gordon was on BET back in the day? Right?
Yeah.
It's a good book. It's really good.
So that's the other thing, going back to Antonio's point. If we're gonna own something, we gotta keep our dollars within our community. Like if we go sell Black, buy Black, own, like, guys, come on.
Oh, I got one more shout out. And it's not a podcast, it's more of a show, but it's on Vice. And I love these ladies because they got their start on ESPN, but Jamil Hill and Carrie Champion.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Speaking of Jamil, shout out to one of my favorite shows is Back on TV, Black Love.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah.
No, Tony, are you watching Black Love?
I have not seen it. Not yet.
That's your homework assignment.
Will do.
When we record next Saturday, I want to recap on Black Love.
All right.
We can, because I actually been on it. And I think the couple that I enjoyed watching was Dule Hill and Jasmine. I forgot her.
Oh,
yeah, I've enjoyed listening to what they have to talk about. Now, I'm trying to remember the name of the show with Carrie Champion and Jamil Hill, the name of the show. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
But speaking of Black Love, one of the podcasts that I was talking about, How Married Are You? Belief Mel and Miss Melanin, they are the hosts of How Married Are You? And they also have their own podcast show with their family. They're based in California, but they're also a featured couple on Black Love.
So I found the name of the show. It's actually called Stick to Sports with Jamil Hill and Carrie Champion. And Shar, have you seen it?
I haven't.
I'm gonna give you. Huh?
If I okay. So
okay. Here's the thing. No.
It's not my thing. I'll watch it if Antonio watches Black Love.
Okay. Here's the thing. No, the reason why I'm telling you to check out Stick to Sports, because it's just not sports that they talk about, and I think you would appreciate as a Black woman what they do. So It's more than just sports. Like, they talk about everything, and it's on Vice. So I'm gonna give you my Vice Connect so you can watch it.
I have cable. Like, I think I have Vice. There's just certain things I don't have. Don't have me out here looking like I ain't got nothing. I got some things. I don't have. I even have my own HBO. I just need the stars.
Let me give a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I got you.
Thank you.
Let me give a disclaimer.
This T-Valley hype is all about.
I watched a lot of TV as a youngster. So as an adult, I don't. But since 2020, I've watched more TV than I've watched in the last 20 years, I'll say.
There's a lot of good content out there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good content. Like, I think for me, I'm trying to remember. I've been watching. Amazon Prime has a lot of good stuff. I've been watching The Boys. which is like loosely based on. I'm a big like comic book. If you don't know, I got the Black Panther behind me, but I think that this show is pretty cool because it's like a play on other like superhero teams, but they're like anti-heroes, and then the heroes that you think are heroes are actually the bad guys. So it's kind of like a script called The Boys on Amazon Prime. So, and then Disney Plus, I went on this, like I said, I love the Black Panther, but just watching the entire like Marvel universe on Disney Plus, that was dope. So yeah, a lot of good content. I'm definitely looking forward to my Lakers pulling it off tomorrow and my Atlanta Falcons against the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Go Steelers. Go Steelers.
Sure, what about you?
I don't have a team. Go anybody my future husband is rooting for. I'll say that.
Right. That's dope.
There you go.
That's a good.
But for our readers, I just want to plug We Need More Thinkers. So one of my homeboys, he has a few book clubs throughout the United States, a few Black book clubs. So We Need More Thinkers. Shout out to Mark Anthony Tynes, who has a literary book club in Denver, LA, New York, DC. So if you're looking for a book club to join them. You can find them on Instagram at We Need More Thinkers.
No doubt. And as we segue into the Instagram, where can y'all follow y'all at? Where y'all at? Where can they follow you?
Char Rochelle. I'm sorry. Char Rochelle and Char's Cookie Jar on Instagram.
And for me, it's the Prosperous One, _Prosperous_1.
Antonio Crow Clothing. That's it.
And make sure y'all follow us at the Convo Lounge on IG and on Twitter. And within our bio, you will see the link for all things related to our podcast, our YouTube channel. If you want to listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and now we are on Amazon Music. You can listen to us on Amazon Music and also on Audible. So while you're reading your book, you can flip over and listen to us on our podcast. And also make sure y'all check out the link to make sure y'all register to vote. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Convo Lounge. And
Lifetagger app. You can also find us on Lifetagger app.
Yes. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for listening. Peace.
Peace.